computer is what we want. And we're recording. So I'm going to get us started. 3, 2, 1. Hello and welcome to Oh My Health, There Is Hope. I'm Jana Short, your host. And today I'm excited to have Kim Gardner with us. Kim is a loving wife. No, stop. Am I saying your name wrong?
Kim
Anderson. Oh, Anderson. Why do I have Gardner in there? This is the notes that they sent me. What is going on?
That's funny.
It's not funny. Like, I talk to you every day. Okay, we're gonna start all over. 3, 2, 1. Hello and welcome to Oh My Health, There Is Hope. I'm your host, Jana Short, and I'm so excited to have Kim Anderson with us today. I just said her name wrong earlier, and you guys won't hear that, but and Kim's a friend of mine, a client of mine, and I absolutely love her, so I'm really excited to have her with us. She is a loving wife and mother of 3. She was working as a low-paid nurse, struggling to make ends meet in an effort to help support her family. She got started in Mary Kay, and during her 20 years with Mary Kay, she learned the power that comes from building your own business. Unfortunately, she also began to notice several health concerns. As time progressed, Kim found herself racking up health-related issues such as Hashimoto's, leaky gut syndrome, Lyme disease, and severe recurring gum disease. As a nurse, Kim was no stranger to research. The more she looked into toxins and chemicals that we are all constantly exposing ourselves to, the more she realized she had been intensifying her symptoms and something had to change. Kim, I love your story, by the way. You know you're one of my favorite experts, and I'm so glad that you're here today.
Thank you, Jana, for having me. I really appreciate it.
So I know that I always tell my guests when they come on that this is about sending out a message of hope, and a lot of people are really going to relate to your story. I really want you to share your powerful story to inspire others and let them know it doesn't matter where they're at. As long as we have breath in our lungs, there's hope for us. So do you want to share your story with us?
Absolutely. Well, I think for me, when I was younger, my mom had cancer at age 40. And so when I turned 40, I was really looking at my life going, wow, like I'm super unhealthy. I don't feel well. My joints ached. I was overweight. I was depressed. And so I was really looking for hope, just how do I feel better as a mom of 3 kids. At the time, my kids were, 12, 10, and 8, and busy lives we were leading. And really, how do you, be a mother and like a good mother at that, but how do you do all of that? And when you're not sleeping good at night and you're diagnosed with ADHD and all these other issues, how do you go about your life and not be depressed? And so for me, I had to make a change. I had to shift and really focus on my health to take care of that leaky gut that I had and the metabolic syndrome and things like that. And how I went about doing that was I slowly started really detoxing my life, detoxing my home, helping. My youngest son had eczema and my oldest son was allergic to Air laundry detergent. And so, I just really started slowly on working on some of those issues in the home. And I myself, my husband noticed how much different I was by just really, how different I felt by giving my body whole food vitamins and nutrition and just shifting some of those toxins out of my home. So that's really where it started 10 years ago. So.
I love that because I think that people really aren't aware of the chemicals we put in our house. And we think that those chemicals are going to kill, like right now with the coronavirus going on, and people are using a lot of bleach and a lot of really toxic things in their home to hopefully kill the coronavirus. And there's so many more options for you. And I want to talk a little bit about toxic chemicals in the home. Like, what are some of the things that you were able to do and make changes that you could make in your home?
Well, you think about your body. I'm a nurse, my background's nursing, and I actually keep my nursing license, but I don't practice nursing at all anymore. I help people this way because I just feel like just education is so key. And for me, it started by, my skincare, and everything you put on your skin goes right into your bloodstream. And so for me, I started like decreasing the skincare products that I had been using for a long time. And I went to a natural skincare line, and I started looking at around my home, what was I using to clean my toilets with, and what was I putting my hands in, like your dish soap and things like that are like common sense, but a lot of people really don't think about that. And so I just started really slowly decreasing a lot of the chemicals in my home, and it really changed me. My husband, within about 30 days, he noticed a big difference in me with my autoimmune, and my body had been really struggling with a lot of the toxins that I had been using. And so it was just a huge difference with my energy level and my gut. I started using a product to help my stomach as well. And just by, getting the toxins out of your body, your brain, the gut brain working together really made me even focus more. I went off of my ADHD medication, and I went off my sleeping pills and my depression medication. So currently I just take one little thyroid medication and tons of vitamins. So it really has helped me a ton.
So I want to touch on supplements, because supplements for me are key. I mean, we're going to talk more about removing toxins from your home, but I just want to touch a little bit on supplements, because to me, supplements are lifesaver, because I don't have a stomach. And so for me to get the proper nutrients I need, I had to search very hard, and I had to find supplements that were not only quality supplements and had the things I needed, my body was requiring, but that would absorb. And I know a lot of people are like, I got the supplements covered, I got this, but you don't, because if they are not absorbing, you have the most expensive pee in the world.
Exactly. Well, and I think the vitamins that I'm currently using, they go in at the cellular level, so the body actually gets the nutrients that it needs. And I can immediately, like within 15, 20 minutes, I'll have more energy, I'll feel better. And my cholesterol was over 300 at one time. And so just dropping that cholesterol naturally, I was not going to go on a statin drug. And, they wanted me to go on a statin medication. And I said, no, thank you. I'll figure it out. And I did. And I think that's the key, is you want to find a whole food organic supplement that is not going to cost an arm and a leg. There's a lot of expensive vitamins on the market, and you just have to find a really good quality nutritional supplement.
I agree. What would they look for when they're looking for quality nutritional supplements? Like, how do they know? When I go to Costco, by the way, I would never buy a supplement from Costco. And I already knew that without having all my experience. But if they're going to places like Costco and they think they're saving money, or they're going to CVS, what are they looking for? Because honestly, I'm not giving any companies out there, but I've never found anything on the shelves at one of those stores that really was helpful to me.
Well, yeah, you're right. I personally would not buy at any of those, chain stores on vitamins, GNC, all those companies. I would personally look for a vitamin that has the science to back the nutrients, the vitamins, right? The science behind it. The ones I use have 4 different clinical studies. So that's huge, to have a clinical study and to see the actual study on, bringing your blood sugars down and for me, it was leveling out the sweet cravings and the blood sugars and the cholesterol, all those things. When you look at a supplement, make sure that there's science to back those supplements that you're considering using.
I agree. And in the long run, you will save money, because not only will they be more effective, you won't have that expensive fee. So I love that. I know my daughter was like, I'm going to write a book. She's a doctor of natural medicine. She's like, I'm going to write a book. How expensive is your pee? Because a lot of people think they're feeding their bodies, and they're not. It's just not absorbing. So clinical studies are a really good way to go. And the funny thing is that Kim and I take totally different supplements. So there are great supplements out there. You just want to look at the science behind them. Sometimes you're not going to be able to find those on regular supermarket shelves or CVS or Costco. And if you look at Costco's, I will promise you most of them are being shipped in from China, which is not bad. We get a lot of things from China, but the supplement that I'm depending on to support my body and my immune system, I want to make sure it's the best quality. So when we start talking about toxic chemicals, one of the things I tell clients all the time, because I love essential oils, is put it on the bottoms of your feet because it has a great absorption rate, right? It gets into the bloodstream much quicker. So I want to talk about toxic chemicals in your home and what your animals and your children and yourself are being exposed to as you walk around barefoot in your safe home, right? And you're tracking this in from yards where they've used toxic things on grasses or toxic things in flower beds. And here you are bringing in the house, and then pretty soon your kids are crawling on it or walking on it. Your dogs are walking out, licking their paws. And this is not a scare factor. It's just a simple thing. And Kim has this great saying that she uses all the time: as you run out, swap out. So don't freak out that you might have toxins in your home. There are some, of course, that you should remove right away. But in most cases, Kim, what does that mean as you run out, swap out?
Well, my recommendation to somebody that's, brand new to the whole theory of getting the toxins out of your home is just baby step, baby step your way back to health, right? And the thing that's key is, like, when you run out of your Dawn dish soap or, your toilet bowl cleaner, your Windex or whatever you're currently using, swap out to a better brand that is non-toxic. Okay, and there's other, expensive products on the market. I know most of our products are like 94 cents a bottle, so I love our cleaning products. They're amazing. But I think the big thing is like when you run out of your toothpaste, maybe you're using, Crest or whatever, swap out for a Tom's and Maine or, our brand, but just swap out when you run out. You don't have to be overwhelmed when you're going to be switching over. Just do baby steps. And if you baby step your way, you will get healthy in the process of swapping out. Run out, swap out. I love that.
I want to talk to you a little bit about people's toothpaste that you were just talking about. It's a good thing to start switching out, because I did not know this until 10 years ago when someone said to me, you should not be using a toxic toothpaste. And I was using a major brand. And I'm like, what do you mean? It's got fluoride. It's got all the things you're supposed to have. It says dentist recommended on it. You're like, 4 out of 5 dentists recommend. But why did that 5th one not recommend? And they said, read the warning label on the back. I'm like, there's a warning label on the back of toothpaste. If swallowed, call the poison control. And yet I raised my kids with a timer, and they had to brush their teeth for 2 minutes until that little timer went off, holding it in their mouth. You don't think they're absorbing it sublingually? You don't think that they've swallowed some of that? And this went on twice a day minimum, unless they had their braces on. Then it was multiple times a day. And I thought, oh my gosh, I put toxic chemicals in my children's mouth multiple times a day, insisting they held it there for 2 minutes while they brushed, when I could have given them something safer to clean their teeth with. So I guarantee you guys, go grab your toothpaste, run out there, grab it, read the back of it, and that should be one of the first things you want to swap out.
Right, and I had gum disease, so I didn't know. I was using, like you said, Jana, a national brand, and my gums just kept bleeding and bleeding. And the minute I switched over, my gums quit bleeding, and I had 8 gum surgeries in a 13-month time frame. And so I was like willing to try any good toothpaste on the market, and I found one, and 10 years, my gums have not bled. Even my dental hygienist says to me, I cannot believe how your gums have healed. So you can find toothpaste out there that will actually heal disease.
I totally agree with you 100%. I know that I did. So I'm excited to see you guys just start swapping that out. It took me 10 years, but I have swapped out all the chemicals in my home. I use non-chemical products outside now. Like when I'm gardening, I use peppermint oil to keep away ants or insects off of my tomato plants, and it works beautifully, and it's non-toxic. So there's a lot of things you can swap out. I didn't do it overnight, and I know Kim didn't do it overnight. It was a slow process. And by the way, I create my own cleaning products, but I use a lot of her cleaning products, and I'm completely hooked.
Yeah, they are amazing. They are amazing. I like the price point too. You can clean your fruits and vegetables too if you want. So I definitely love them for that as well. So
I love them too, because I'm all about reusable. So I'm using the same containers and just making it as I need it. And I love that I'm not wasting anything. I use glass containers at home so I can reuse them, but they give you a container that you could use forever. as you're creating them. And I love that. So you're saving the environment, you're saving the toxic buildup in your home, and they're effective is what I loved about them the most.
Right, they are. They really do work. So they're very effective and very affordable for folks that are trying to run out and swap out.
So as a nurse, I'm going to ask you a couple questions. What are some of the things people can look for when they're thinking maybe I have toxic overload? So I know one of the things I tell my clients is when you have toxic overload, it has to exit the body somehow. And you'll notice that in skin issues. You'll notice it in your hair. Like if your hair starts maybe getting thinner and it doesn't look shiny. That's how I, by the way, judge my health. That's how I see if I'm getting my supplements, is that if I notice my hair starts getting dull and a little dry and brittle, or it starts thinning, my body's not absorbing what it should be absorbing. But what are some of the things that people can look at to know, like, hey, I might be being affected by toxicity in my home?
Well, definitely gut issues, because, major gut issues, if you have, tummy ache, gassy, bloated, constipation. The other thing, brain fog. Brain fog is a huge one. If you're noticing brain fog, you're not sleeping at night, maybe you're stressed out, you got to really hone in and focus on decreasing the stress in your life where you're getting enough sleep. You have to get enough sleep to be able to focus. And so that brain fog's been was a huge one for me when I had the Lyme disease. And a lot of people they get brain fog when they're overwhelmed, or, they don't even know what's wrong. They're just scattered and they're go, go, go. So just really, focus on decreasing and just, decreasing your life. I always say, like, declutter, decrease. So
one of the other things I wanted to talk about, because you brought up the fact that you tried not to take a statin, right? And the only thing that you were taking now is something for your thyroid problem. And I got off all of my medications too. And I want to say something about pharmaceuticals. First of all, I'm so grateful we have them, because in some very severe cases, people need them. But I do notice now that if you're borderline diabetic, they give you metformin. If you have borderline high blood pressure, they give you a medication, trying to keep it, instead of saying, why don't we try diet? Why don't we try removing some things from your home, exercise, a better quality of life? And so there is a place for medicine, but if you can start moving away from those, like metformin and statins, two of the worst chronic medications you can be on as far as I'm concerned. I am not a doctor, and if you need it to stay alive, you should be on it. But if you can avoid that and back yourself out of it, along with the help of your doctor, I backed myself out of statin medications. I backed myself out of, I take nothing now but 2 injections a day for a blood clotting disorder I have, which is genetic, and there is no way of holistically fixing that. But that is all I have to take now. So I'm so grateful for the fact that removing toxins, getting on a better diet, getting the proper nutrition in you helps build your immune system, helps your body thrive. Like, what tips would you have to have people, along with your doctor? This is so important. I did not go off my medications, and I know Kim, even as a nurse, did not just say, well, I'm done with this today. I asked my doctors to test my blood on a regular basis and back me out of it, which I did safely with them. And I have not been on any of those drugs in 7 years, and I was on them for years prior to that. So it is possible for you, along with your doctor, to work your way out of them and become healthier naturally. And so what are some of your key things on that?
Well, definitely, you're exactly right. You work with your doctor to, work on your medications. If you're wanting to go off some of them, you work with your doctor. But definitely a whole food, the whole food vitamins, and then a whole food plan. So I have a food plan that I guide people with. I really cut out my gluten. My dairy is very, very low. So those are just some of the things, because those can be, somebody that has eczema, or they have, skin issues and gut issues. Some of those are the first things that I cut out with somebody when I'm working with them, is, their gluten and their dairy and things like that. So that's what I would do. But definitely, like, you can add a whole food vitamin. Even if you're on medication, you can add a vitamin to your medication regimen, and then you can work with your doctor if you want to go off of some of those medications. But I had metabolic syndrome, and I was not going on any medication, and it totally reversed it by food, by eating food and changing my, adding the exercise in and changing my diet, and totally reversed all the depression and all those issues that I had by just food and nutrition.
I totally agree. I really agree with you. Unfortunately, that doesn't work for me because I have no stomach. But if you get the right supplement, it doesn't matter. I mean, you should still be eating good quality food. And when I do eat foods, I make sure that they're organic and that they're, plant-based. And do I have a piece of chocolate cake from time to time? Of course I do, because you're allowed to do that. It just shouldn't be part of your regular diet that you're on a regular basis. So you can have fun too. Like one of the great things that Kim does is she has an incredible Facebook group that you can follow. It's Health with Kim, right?
Yes.
She has this great group. She goes live in there all the time. She gives you great ways of making recipes at home, things you can do to remove chemicals at home, things that maybe we aren't even aware of that have chemicals in it. But she also has just created a premier group that I think by the time this releases, it'll be up and running, where she goes in there and works with you and coaches you on I think you're in there once or twice a week, but there's tons of recipes and workbooks and information for you. And it's like, I think you had a special, and you can talk about the special for their first month if you want to. And so that when this goes live, they'll have an opportunity to click in there and join you in that group. And I know you kind of limit it to how many people can come in each month, but do you want to tell everyone about it?
Sure, I would love to. I limited to 25 people a month, and I'm going to be doing lives in the group, in the Premier group. It's called Health with Kim Premier, and it's $1 to be in the group, and then each additional month is just $24.97. So very affordable for all the coaching that you're going to get. A lot of one-on-one coaching as well in that group.
I love it. And I already went and peeked in there. It's pretty cool. So I'm very excited for her. Where else can people find you, Kim, if they want to connect with you?
Well, and I'm just on Facebook. Kim LeGare Anderson is my regular Facebook page. They can connect there. I also, on the Health with Kim, they can get into that free group. So that is another great way. It's on Facebook as well.
And I know that if you go into the show notes, you're going to see a free gift from her as well. So you can go into the show notes and click into her group for $1 that she's offering you for the first 25 people that go in there. And you can grab a free gift from her at the end of the notes. So I would totally do that, because Kim is absolutely one of my favorite experts. I really enjoy working with her. I've learned so much from her as an expert. And Kim, thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Thank you so much, Jana. Thanks for having me.